Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your boy, Michael Shepard. I am the early intervention specialist at the Southwest Center. And we have my lovely co host, my Black Queens, I absolutely love. So let's introduce ourselves. Hawa, we're going to start with you, Chelsea, Cookie, and
Hi.
then Aretha.
Okay. Hey everyone, I'm Hawa. I'm the case management supervisor at the Southwest Center.
Hey y'all, I'm Chelsea. I'm the acting behavioral health manager at the Southwest Center.
Hey, I'm Cookie. I'm supportive case manager at the Southwest Center.
Hello, my name is Aretha, and I am a medical case manager at the Southwest Center.
And again, this is your boy, Michael Shepard, Early Intervention Specialist, EIS. Tonight, we are going to talk about Black Lives Matter Roundtable. We do not have a black table, but however, we're here and we're going to have this talk, okay? This is not like the Will Smith and Jada Pickett. We're not having the, what do you call it?
The red table.
Red table.
Yeah,
The
the
red
red
table
table,
talk.
the entanglement. We have none of that tonight, okay? None of that. So let's get into it. So we want to first thank Southwest Center again from the bottom of our hearts. We want to thank y'all so much for allowing us to speak and host this. We are so grateful and so honored that you allowed us to do this, and you're wanting to hear our voice and let us speak as well. So thank you so much. Thank you. So let's get into it. The first topic: Black health. I know that I did some research, and we African Americans, we do not like to seek help as mental, such as mental as well as health, such as what's some other things,
Physical, diet,
physical diet. Yeah,
anything really.
let's talk about that. What do y'all think about that? What seems to be the issue about that, and why we don't like to seek help?
Well,
Fear.
I feel like, yeah, fear, Cookie, you're right. Fear. And I think it's all very much deep rooted from the history that we've had with the health system. I mean, starting from the Tuskegee trials,
Mhm.
starting from just back in the day, how much mistrust we've had in the health system. None of us want to go, we're not going to go out of our way to go seek that. And I think that as Black people, aside from whatever faith we believe in, we tend to go towards that more so going towards Western medicine.
Okay.
I
Cookie.
agree, and it's also it's surrounding discovery too, because majority of the Black men are scared to find out if something's wrong,
That's
you
true.
know, with them, and just again, it revolves around the fear that they have.
That's true. That's true. I have to say, for a black male perspective, we don't want to hear like, "Oh, you're
Right.
diagnosed with this," or because we think out of the first thing come to our minds: Are we going to die
Right.
tomorrow?
Yeah.
Are we going to die
Yeah.
this week? Are we going to die next month?
Hmm.
Like we want to like sometimes in actuality, this is what I've grown up with. A lot of traditional methods and just the way of thinking is that they diagnose their own self, like they're their own doctor.
Mm-hmm.
They don't
Mm-hmm.
like to seek their own help. They want to diagnose. Oh,
So.
my leg is swelling. Oh, that's just a nerve, honey. That's just all right. I'm gonna put some ice on it. I'm gonna put some salt, some Epsom salt on it. It'll be fine in the morning.
I also think
Yeah.
though too, Michael, like this is generational. So I can
Mhm.
speak especially for my family that this goes back to like my great grandma saying, hey, we don't do this, we don't
Mhm.
seek help, we don't ask for help because then we'll look weak. So
Weak.
I think it's also a
Mm-hmm.
combination of fear and being perceived as weaker than your neighbor, even
That's
people in
true.
your own family. So I think all of this kind of wraps around, but it honestly starts with the fact that we perpetuate this within our own families and our own
That's true.
society.
That's true.
It,
Absolutely.
You're
yeah,
absolutely correct.
and I think that goes back to being judged because everything with Black families is keep it in the family, keep it Don't tell anybody. This is our
Yes.
business.
What
So
happens
everything
in
is
my
done in
house
the family.
stays in my house.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I believe it's even more so for Black women because we're nurturers and we're the one that we're the glue that keeps the Black families together. I mean, the man goes to work, but in the past, in the history, in you know, in past history, women stayed at home, and so everything was hush hush. But the women was the nurture, so she had to be strong for everybody, especially her man.
Yeah.
And had too much on our plate. The phrase "ain't nobody got time for that" applies to this. It's just when do you have time when you're in between taking care of the kids, taking care of the household? I think that being perpetuated all these generations led up to us now not being able to do what we need to do to take care of ourselves.
I think you're also starting to see the shift now, though, because I can speak for our generation. We're starting to seek therapy. We're praising it. We're speaking out, but our parents are still kind of like, "Girl, why are you doing that?" Like I had a whole conversation with my mom, and I'm a therapist, and she's like, "You're going to therapy?" I'm like, "Mom, yes, I'm going to therapy. Like I got to practice what I preach."
Yeah.
So I think that it's great that we're starting to break those things for our children to come in the future and our grandchildren, because I think that past generations, like we've talked about, it's ingrained in them. It's almost just like our skin color. It's part of our body that we just stay within our house, stay within our family, and we don't talk to nobody.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
And even going back to another generation, let's say my generation versus your generation. Somebody in my generation had to make the path for your generation to speak up and say, "I'm gonna be okay." Because I would often ask even our clients that would come in there that were younger than me. I said, "Well, you ain't dead. You ain't dead. So what's the problem?" So I think generation after generation, somebody has to set the stage and set the tone for the next generation. So the generation that you have, because mine is kind of like dead, stinking, and gone. Now we looking at Hawa's generation, but who's teaching Hawa?
We learning from y'all, honestly. Back in
Exactly.
2019, we made it a point to find Black physicians. And so now I have a Black dentist, I have a Black primary care doctor, I have a Black OBGYN. And that makes it more enticing for me to go into the doctor's appointments because I know they can relate to me. And I get to, it's all about representation. It's what do you see when you walk in? And that alone takes away some of the fears that we naturally have going into the doctor's office.
Yeah.
That's true. That is true. Another thing with my generation, what I've learned is that my generation will listen to what the older generation has to say, but we won't take in heed of that. We won't take in heed until it actually happened to us.
It come into effect.
And then that's when we'll be like, "Oh shoot, my daddy said that, but I really didn't pay attention to that." But now we're just hard headed. We really are hard headed. Like we just don't want to take heed to that. And
So
that's where the generation has to take accountability of being responsible and wanting to listen to that older generation.
So by the time they do listen,
Yeah.
it's like, and they do come to you, the first thing comes out of my mouth is, "Oh, you really are almost dead, ain't you?" Okay. So you're right.
That is true. That is true.
I think piggybacking a little bit on what Howard said, reaching out and doing your research, because she's correct. We're going to get to this a little bit later, but I have two children, and my first child I went to a white doctor. He was cool, it was chill, but I felt as though he was not listening to me when I had complications. My second doctor, Black woman, she was telling me stuff about my body before I even knew. And I was like, "Oh, okay, girl, you got me. Okay, you're listening." So I think when we do the research and we really focus on understanding ourselves and finding other people that understand us, I think that's where things are going to get better.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's so true. So true. All right. Anything else? So you want to move to the next topic? Because we got some topics for y'all. We got some good.
Bring it on, baby.
Topics.
Right.
Okay. Let's jump into, because I'm going to switch this around. We're going to jump into It Takes a Village, a Black mother perspective. Let's talk to that. How many mothers do we have? All right. Hawa, single team, ow.
Right? You missed out, Hawa.
Terrible.
It'll come in the future. It'll come in the future. But right now, okay. But let's hear the mother aspects of it takes a village to raise your child, or the village to help with a single mother or mothers.
Well, I think it goes just to what we were saying a little bit earlier, but in a different perspective. You know, we are ingrained from most of us, our African culture, to know that it does take a village. You're going to need mom, whoever, grandma, aunties, best friends to really step up and be there for you. So going back to the health piece, we don't always seek out help when we have a fever or when, you know, just common things are happening. So who's going to step in and watch my kids when I'm in the bed because I can't move? So I think that's where it comes with us building connections and finding those people in our life, maybe people that look like us, maybe not, but people who understand that we're going to need help one day. So I totally believe in the model of it takes a village, or else a lot of us wouldn't be here.
Right. Absolutely. You know, from my perspective, I really didn't have, you know, with my daughter, I have my son and my daughter, so I really didn't have like the help that I needed because I lost my mom while I was pregnant with my daughter. And so my father was in another state. And so it made it really difficult to actually have somebody because I didn't have anyone. You know, the only thing that mattered to me was my mom. And, you know, she was gone and I didn't have that help. And so it was very strenuous on me because I didn't have anybody. So I had to take off work, maybe for like 6 months and then put my daughter in daycare. So, I mean, sometimes it does take a village to raise a child, but it also, you know, it made it difficult for me because I had a stranger watching my child.
Mm.
Children.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
It
Cut
goes.
out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Where's the village? Where's that village at in this day and time though? Because the village back when my mom was raised is a different village than when I was raised. So the villages that you talk about, it takes a village. It does take a village, but where are they? Where are those the mothers now? The mothers, like, you know, I had my children at an early age. I'm a great grandmother, and I'm only 62 years old.
All right.
I mean, you know, where's that village now? My mother's a great grandmother. She ain't got no business being no great grandmother at no 80 years old. But you know, the great grandmothers now are going to get they act like Hawa. They go get their nails done. They go get weaves. They go get their feet done. Even Hawa tells me, go, you know, girl, you need a pedicure.
I'll be the first to tell y'all.
Right. They're not grandmothers now. They're like grandmoms.
I think we've lost
Mhm.
that momentum of it takes a village to raise a child. We've lost some of it. We've just lost.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think for, you know, what Aretha was talking about, if you don't have your parents or if they're, you know, they're in a different state, then if you can, definitely build them. But I mean, I agree. My mom's in Virginia, so 99% of the time it's just me and the kids and the dogs and we're just hanging out. But that, you know, week that she comes to visit every few months, oh my goodness, it's like going to my version of Disneyland with margaritas and just having a good old time. But again, the other 50 weeks of the year,
right,
it's kind of like they're at school or the babysitter or somebody is with them. So I agree, Cookie. We just need to find people that we can trust. And right now, the way that our world is and our country is, that window's getting smaller and smaller, I feel like.
Right. Yeah.
And you know,
moving forward, like you really can't trust people with your children.
Ooh,
What's
Lord.
going on nowadays is like, no, I'll stay home for 6-7 months and watch my own child, you know, because you never know what somebody could be doing to your child.
True.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that reverts back from, you know, personal issues that, you know, growing up, somebody may have been molested in their family and they're like, oh no, I'm not leaving my child with anyone, you know, just have that, you know, fear that something's going to happen to your child because that person went through that.
Also, I think go ahead, Cookie.
And as far as that village that you raised nowadays, with our experiences with clients, the case managers, people like me and Hawa and Aretha that really care, we're the village, because they can't go to their own families. It froze.
So, what would you say? And this is kind of straying away from our topics. What would you say if a single mother, a young single mother, is watching now? What would you say? Tell her what are her aspects and what's the things that she needs to do? Like,
Ask for help. Find some help. I mean, whether that's with us at our agency or contact, the state or your city you live in, but you got to find some help. You cannot do it alone, even though we're strong Black super mamas, and we still can't do it alone.
Absolutely.
It's
impossible. You need some kind of help, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a counselor, anybody to reach out, and you have to ask for help.
that is so true.
But before you ask for help, I'm sorry. Maybe it's just my character, but get over it.
Mama cooking,
no, listen. It's important to me to build a rapport. And so I try to be as human as I can. I use different tactics and different humor and different life skills that I've learned along the way. I don't really mean get over it. So don't get me wrong. I'm here to help you. But at one point, if I can tell you to get over it, I might be able to tell you to listen to me and listen to some experience and listen to some culture and listen to some know-how. But I got to get your attention first. I got to get your attention some kind of way. And that's just my tactic. That's my tactic, the way I do it.
I think what Cookie's trying to say is she tries to build the person up, before they get to the point where they got to ask for help. You got to remember that you can do this, and this is a tough day, but tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow might be easier. And sometimes you just need somebody to remind you that, you are very much a superhero. You are very much a strong, independent Black woman, and you can get through this. But going back to It Takes a Village, speaking from like an East African perspective, I was raised by my entire family. I was fortunate enough to have my grandma living with us. My mom's sisters are my other moms. And I think that if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. Because when she had to do what she needed to do, when she was working long hours, we had somebody to keep an eye on us and somebody to be there for us. And when it comes to the health aspect, like the fevers and things like that, if mom had to work or if mom had to do what she needed to do, at least, auntie was there or grandma was there to make sure to check on us and make sure we were okay. And a lot of like holistic remedies were provided to us. We never were ones to rush into Western medicine. We were never ones to rush to the ER. Like if I was sick, my mom would be like, you know what, here's a can of 7-Up. Lay down for a few minutes, you're gonna feel a lot better. How many of y'all had 7-Up for a stomach ache?
Girl, if you got a fever, go get in the tub with some cold water.
Right. And somehow we turned out okay.
Yeah.
We had the ginger ale in my house, Howell.
There you go.
Right.
Big bottle of ginger ale, 2 liters. I'm like, Mom, I'm dying.
We had 7-Up.
Well,
I'll be like, Mama, my stomach still hurt.
we had to go out there and pull some of them roots out of the ground in the front yard.
What would
she
the
OG for real?
Do?
Right.
Cookie, what would the roots do? I don't know. What would they do?
I don't know, but my mama said go out there and pull them and bring them back in the house, boil them for about 5 minutes.
So, another question that to piggyback off what y'all was saying, with the young generation now, they and piggyback off to the healthcare to where we don't ask for or seek any help. With this young generation now, if they don't like to ask questions and they don't like to seek help from either another they don't like to seek help from their father, they don't like to seek help from their mother, they want to make it on their own. And what I mean by that is with this generation now, they see everything that is televised or on the internet, and they're making it by themselves. But however, they don't know the full story. They just want to get everything handed to them to get where that celebrity is at. So again, you may say that what am I saying? You may say that the young generation may need to ask or open their mouth, but what is the key thing that they need to be reminded about? Does that make sense?
I
No?
would say that
Yeah.
there are people that look just like them in positions to help. So again, like Hawa and I were talking about having your own doctors that look like you. It's so important when you have that rapport and you're with someone that really can understand where you're coming from. Not saying they can't go to anybody else, but the best connections are typically with people you can relate the most to, at least at the beginning. So I mean, if you look like me, we sit around the same age, let's go. Like what we're gonna do. So I think that's the first step, is just doing your research and knowing that we exist. There are people out here that look like you that can help.
And it
And
would definitely
also,
take some ease off their mind or worry some that they do have. If they come in and they see a physician looking like myself, a young woman, and she'll be free to ask any questions that she wants, and won't feel like that she's being judged by me because she's in that relatable stage.
and
Mm-hmm.
also, and also let them know that they're not unique. Not only are they not unique, they're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
Because the woe is me, and this only happens to me. You get a lot of that with people that don't have those families like Hawa. So let them know that they're not the only one. Like, this has happened to lots of women and men that grow up in this country that are less fortunate. You're not alone. Just let me help you realize that you're not alone, and let me share my experience, strength, and hope with you, so that you can rise above poverty or racism or whatever the issue you might be going through, drug addiction, whatever it might be.
That my generation has taken a stand.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, Michael, you cut out a little bit.
Black Lives Matter, and also they're doing their history. Like, they're actually going back and doing more history than what was taught in high school. Just because, like, in high school, we've been taught, like, we have been taught about 1 day of Black history, but the next 2 days or the next 3 days, we're on Hitler, we on everything else, to where that's in our tests right now, in the tests of histories and social studies, it's all listed, not even on Black slavery. It's listed on that certain column of white supremacists, and also everything else. Like, it's like, again, it's not much. It's not much. We need to be taught more of slavery in the school system. That's what I think.
Absolutely. And to answer your question, just like Chelsea said, it definitely comes down to having that representation, having a doctor that looks like you. And honestly, in 2019, it was really hard for me to find providers that were African American. And all it really took was a Google search, but it was a lot more difficult than it should have been, is what I'm trying to say. It should not be that hard for us to find African American providers. And I think now with the Black Lives Matter movement and the uprisings, it's a lot easier. There's a lot more apps now that can help you find the providers that you're looking for. And when we were doing the whole support Black businesses, there's this app, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it helps you find Black owned businesses. And there's something similar to that helps you find Black physicians in your area. And I think that with technology today and the way that we're able to just navigate our world using our cell phone, it's a lot easier. So to our younger generation, all the millennials and Gen Zs, honestly, Google's your best friend. Find a provider that looks like you, and I promise your quality of care is going to be 10 times better once you walk into that office. You just immediately feel a sense of relief because you're like, okay, cool. Like, and then, they know the slang, they know the terminology that you feel more comfortable. And it just overall makes your quality of health a lot better.
That's good. That's good. I know we just got a message from one of our from the producer that is on the background. But however, for when we having a conversation now, I think if we need to talk, or if you want to chime in, just raise your hand or just unmute yourself and just jump in. Gotcha. My Black queens. All right. So let's go on to the next topic. Let's see here. Let's do memory down the black old lane. Anybody want to start first?
So I don't know if y'all saw that viral video going on Instagram. That's the only social platform I have, but Instagram, where the young black woman was singing "That's the Bayang." The Bayang. Did y'all see that? If not, it's hilarious. Y'all should check it out.
Oh, not the bang.
Okay. Anyway, so check it out. It's called the Bayang. Anyway, down memory lane. When I was little, my goodness, my mom, bless her heart, I love her, but I used to have that big old one roller bang just chilling right here, just right here on the forehead. And I'm just walking around, and of course I went to predominantly white school, so I'm just walking around. They're like, your hair's so cool, and I'm like, I hate you, this sucks, oh my goodness. But just a one roller bang just chilling right here, and it gives me nightmares to this day. And my kids, my daughters think it's hilarious. They're like, Mom, can I have one? And I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you do that to your pretty hair? Why would you burn all that hair off? But anyway, trigger moment. Sorry, guys. That was a definite memory for me.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm looking up some things. Something just came to mind of some black old sayings. I know one of them is when I was growing up, I was playing across the street with my best friend, and my mama always used to tell me, "You better get in this house before it's dark, because if it's not, I'm coming out here to come and get you." So what does that mean? That means to me, like, I better get my tail in because I don't want no whooping. I don't need no time. I don't have time for no whooping. And I didn't do nothing. All I'm doing is outside playing. But what are some old sayings that y'all remember through your mother, your grandmother, stuff like that?
Well, my version of that, Michael, was you need to get in before the street lights come on. And there was no, I'm gonna come get you. I'm gonna lock the door, and you just gonna have to sit outside for about 30 minutes in the dark by yourself. So, and we lived in the country in Virginia, so there was like one street light. So I don't know what she was talking about, all these street lights, but I listened. I got my butt inside before 7:30 every day.
Okay, now I get it now. My Mine was, you came with teeth. Do you want to leave with teeth? That means you're being bad. So, can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. You came here with teeth, or that's just an ass whooping I got to take, things like that. But those are things that I grew up with, just not so much hearing my parents say it, but hearing other people, the village, saying it. And I remember that our neighbors was allowed to discipline us if we skipped school, if we played hooky, or if we was doing something we had no business. Our neighbors were allowed to discipline us with scoldings or a bill or whatever, and that was normal.
We didn't get hit by the neighbors, but they told my mama everything. They told her everything. She knew everything before we walked in the house. Yeah.
Another one I think that was funny, like contradicting to me, is my mom would say, just tell me the truth. You won't get in trouble. Don't lie. Just tell the truth. I tell you the truth and I'm still in trouble. So what's the point at this point? Like, what are we doing? So that was just, and another one, sorry, y'all, I got hella triggers from all of this stuff when I was little. Another one was like, I brought you in this world and I will take you out. Of course, she wasn't going to harm me in that way, but just the fear of, oh my gosh, my mom could beat my butt and that be it.
I think the one I mostly remember the most was a silent. My mother didn't say nothing. She just took our ear, twisted it, and pulled it this way. So silence is still golden, because she didn't have to say too much to us because she grabbed that ear.
Oh
I
my
think
God. Aretha, were you saying something because you're mute? Okay.
Okay. No. The thing I wanted to say, like, is the old sayings, like your mom and your parents used to tell you, like, if you would be hungry, it's like, oh, I want McDonald's. They'd be like, oh, you got McDonald's money?
I was just about to say that one. Or
So,
when you be like, Mama, could we get
yeah,
this?
it's
And they'd
like,
be like,
oh,
there's
so
some
you better eat
spaghetti at the
these.
house.
Yeah, you better eat these beans and cornbread and rice that I cooked. So,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of still guilty of that. My kids will be like, "Let's go to wherever," and I'm like, "Where that piggy bank at? Like, let me
right.
get some fun before
You
we go."
got some money. Absolutely.
I remember my father, he always tell me this. He said, a head hard makes a soft behind. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what are you saying to me? Like, I was young and I did not know then, but I know now. I really
Yeah.
do. I really do. Another thing is, and I'm gonna share this with y'all. This is why I don't cut grass anymore. And this is a funny one. So one day it was hot, very hot in Charleston, South Carolina, and my father, he was cutting grass, and he was telling me, "Hey, son, come and help me cut the grass." And I was like, "I don't want to. Like, I want to stay in my house. I want to stay in the room, watch TV. Let me take a nap." Next thing you know, I'm being yelled at, get outside and cut this grass. So I'm cutting the grass. I get on the riding lawnmower. I, by the air conditioned unit, there's a little piece of grass right there beside the air conditioned unit. And I say, Michael, you got this. Just make a sharp turn and you'll get it. Next thing you know, I've been on top of the air conditioning unit, and my daddy had cursed me out like never before. Now, my daddy's a pastor. I never heard my father curse before, but that day, that man had cursed me out. That's an old memory lane for me. Anybody else?
Ooh, I feel for you. I feel for you. I saw this tweet the other day that said, now I understand why my mom would be in them little attitudes after she get off work. Y'all relate to that now that y'all adults? Because when we get off work, it'd be like,
Hell yeah.
don't nobody talk to me, don't nobody look at me. And it makes sense. It came full circle.
Well, you know, prior to this podcast, I called my mom and I asked my mom, what does she remember about growing up? And this is what she told me, and I'm going to read it to you. She says that she said, first of all, we didn't go to school. We went to a church if you were lucky. She also said that we had no lights and no water. She said if we drank water, it was out of a well. And she said that most of the stuff was already labeled for white only or for black only. And my heart just sank when she told me that. I said, Mom, you really lived like that? She said, we didn't have any choice. Now, I'm going to tell my little story real quick because I cherish this story. It takes a couple of minutes. But people know me by Cookie, but my real name is Arthurine. And so I want to share with you guys that Arthurine Lucy was the first Afro-American woman to be accepted in an all-white college in 1959, and which is the year I was born. So I was named after Arthurine Lucy, not to mention my dad's name was Arthur, and they wanted a boy, and they got me. So I'm a little bit of history, and I'm a little bit of the milestones that was back in the 50s and 60s of far as Afro-Americans or Black people getting ahead. So I'm a part of that history because I didn't go to college, but my name sure did go.
That was deep. That was deep. That was real good. So we only have a few more minutes. It's 6:35. We want to end at 6:45. But I want to touch on these two last topics. The last, I want to touch on the raising a black man. Um, I know that it's been hard right now and scary for us African male to either leave the house, go outside and play. Our mothers are worried, very worried. They're scared to death. I'm scared to death of leaving the house. I mean, it's you never know when your life is going to leave you. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what the police is going to do. You never know who's going to come out the corner. But for those mothers that has children, a black male, can you speak on that behalf on how I'm raising a black male?
It was very difficult because I also raised my son alone. I think when my son was like 14, he stood about 6'2". And I was in the house. I was living in Oakland, California. And I was in the house, and, my neighbors come. They're like, oh, Aretha, the police have your son. I'm like, what? So I run outside, so I see my son in handcuffs, bent over on a police car. So I'm like, what are you guys doing? Why do you have my son? So it was like, oh, we asked him for his ID. He didn't have any, I said, well, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have any because he's 14 years old. I said, let him go immediately. So they slammed him down. They slammed him down and they uncuffed him. So they kind of like roughed him up before they did so. And so after that, they released him, and I went down to Oakland Police Department and filed a complaint. I never heard anything behind that. So my son got harassed and sort of like roughed up by the police, and nothing was done about it. There was no follow up. There were no phone calls. It wasn't anything. And so moving forward, my son, I've always drove my son here, picked him up wherever, because I didn't want that situation to happen. I didn't want those same officers to see my son and possibly shoot my son because they thought he was 18 years old. In actuality, he was only 14. So that put me in a displacement with the police, period. I have no care for police officers because you're here to serve and protect me. I pay your salary. And so when I tell you, hey, let my son go, and you throw him like he's a piece of trash and expect me to pick it up, that's not how that works. So I'd rather not put my energy into the police or even be bothered with them. If they have to be defunded, let them be defunded. I wouldn't care.
Well, I know my youngest is 33 and my oldest, I think, is 46. And I'm just scared for them because they can't just walk in the store and say, excuse me, ma'am, but I was in line first. It's all, with the things that's going on in this country. I'm scared for them every time they walk out this door. And there's really nothing I can do about it, but just hope and pray that they know how to manage when it comes to different things like police brutality. I used to always tell people that the police is always going to win. They said, don't resist the arrest. They're always going to win. And now it's beyond an arrest. It's your life. So I believe that, well, I just worry. I worry as a mother. And I have one son that has a little bit more anger issues. So he might finger the police off. And if that's going to cost him his life, I worry. And that's all I have to say about that one. I just worry about my children.
Chel'sea, honey, you're on mute.
Am I on mute?
Yeah.
Is that better now? Good now. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. But your son has the right to flick off the cops. He has a right to do whatever that is non-violent in the moment. So I think the fact that him showing his anger and him showing his frustration would potentially cost him his life is downright despicable. And I agree with Aretha. If we have to go to the lengths where I'm going to take my tax money back from you and you're going to have to go find another job because you can't cut it as a police officer, then that's what we're going to have to do. Because the fact that it's becoming normalized that every day we see someone dying almost or hear about it on social media, like it's too much. Like it's just too much. So I think this is a perfect way for us to use our platform as providers to say enough's enough, cut the bullshit. Like we have to do better, and we're gonna do it.
Yeah, I
Now I know I don't have
go ahead,
kids.
Howard.
I know I don't have kids, but I have five brothers and they're my life. And just like all of you guys have stated before, you worry for them every time they leave the door, and I'm on the same boat, you know? And it's so sad that it's African American parents that have to have the talk with their sons and their daughters. And just let that settle in. Like, why should you have a talk with your kids about people who are there to protect and serve you? You know, and I don't think that people really like settle in with that idea. We really do have to have these uncomfortable conversations and explain to our loved ones that the color of their skin may be posed as a threat to certain people. And I think that the best thing to come out of everything that's been going on this last year is that a lot of us are tired of being quiet, or a lot of us aren't afraid to speak up like we once have been before. And I think that that is definitely what we need to do. And like Chel'sea said, we have the right to say what we want to say. It's freedom of speech. And we need to be more willing to use it and more willing to speak on the things that we feel, especially when it comes to police brutality.
Yeah, I definitely agree on what everyone had said. I think for me, since the black male, my fam, living here in Phoenix, Arizona, and my family's in Charleston, and I have no family here. It fears me to walk out my house and not, if God forbid, if I get shot or die today or tomorrow, my family will not know until tomorrow. So it's hard for me to see my mother. Hi, mom. It's hard to see my mother um, call me every day, and I hear her. I hear the crying in her tone. Like, I'm worried about you. I want to. I want to be there with you. I want to. You have no family here, but I need you to tell me that you're okay, so it can settle in my heart that you are perfectly fine. And that's why she calls me every day, nonstop, 24/7. I love you, mom. But Jesus Christ, I love you. Mwah, I love you. But
She just worried. She just
I know
worried.
she's worried. I
Let her
know
be
she
worried.
is worried. But and I totally get it now. I totally get it. And I do not take it for granted. I love every minute, every moment that I have on the phone with my mother. Young generations, cherish the moment that you have with your parents, because tomorrow's not promised. Tomorrow's not promised. Your friend is not promised. Your father's not promised. Your sister's not promised. They can leave this world tonight or tomorrow. Cherish the moment. Cherish the moment. My last, and it's only 6:44. I'm gonna squeeze this in. This is the last thing we're gonna talk about. Struggles a black man deal with. This is where I come in. So the things that I want to talk about is walking in the stores at night, walking in the store, like what Cookie said. You walk in the store and a black man is afraid to say, "Excuse me, ma'am, I was here first," or "Sir, you dropped this," or "Sir, um, I don't like the way you're taking that tone with me. Can you lower your tone?" And they're very peaceful, very peaceful. And no voices are raised, no tones are raised. Another thing is graduating with a diploma or degree. I see a lot of generations are turning away, dropping out of school, going straight to drugs, or trying to be a celebrity and take the easy way. Life is not Everything is not given freely. Everything is not given freely. Some things, food and stuff like that. However, it's you have to take accountability of getting that degree that a family member did not do in your generation. You want to be that first one to accomplish it. Y'all can stop me anytime, but I just want to go down my list real quick. Um, financial stability, investing, savings. I Growing up, I did not know none of that. All I know, my father was keep on telling me and reminding me, check your credit score, keep your credit score up. Don't let nothing affect your credit score. If you let something affect your credit score, it's going to hurt you in the long run. And I did not listen until I got to my 20s, and that really affected me. But I built it up. Thank God is where it's at right now. Um, I did not listen, but we did. I did not know. Another thing is, I did not learn any financial savings and stuff like that. I had to learn that through a banker. A banker sat me down and he was like, "You taking too much money out of your savings account. You need to put this here. You need to do this. You need to invest here." So that I learned from a banker that sat me down. Another thing is uh, being loved. A lot of broken men are hard to be loved. They either missed out from their mom, their dad, or their girlfriend that they first loved that really hurt them, and that's really painful of what we deal with. Another thing is promotion, asking for help, resources and guidance, mentors. We definitely need a mentor. I got about two mentors in my life. Being a father, trustworthiness, seeking medical attention, seeking counseling, not being a statistic, not being a locked up or killed, and drugs. That's my list. That's all I had to say. Y'all want to jump in and say something real quick?
I think I mean, all of that is absolutely, I mean, I have a brother, I don't have any sons, but for my brother, I always saw that it was really hard for him to open up emotionally. So he was raised in a house full of women. He's pretty much the only boy, unless you go back a couple of generations. So he was raised with this notion, seeing our mom, my mom and my grandma, that he has to be strong. He can't cry. He can't do this. And I think that's really where we failed him. I mean, he's perfect now. He's working. He got his life together. But the fact that he couldn't show that, I feel sad because I feel hurt or whatever, because it was just stuff it and try to move on. And I think that if, for those young men out there listening, and young girls, we need to do better at normalizing that it's okay to cry. It's okay to be in your feelings. It's okay to have a moment where you just don't want to do anything. That's fine. But until we do that, I think we're going to see a lot of what you were talking about, Michael, where we just aren't prepared.
I can come in and just touch on what Chel'sea was saying about how we need to allow Black men to feel that they are okay with sharing their emotions and being emotionally vulnerable. And I think that as a society, we've kind of always made them feel as though they have to be strong, they have to be tough. And that's not just the African American society, that's the whole world, has always made them feel that they couldn't show any emotion. So I think that we really just need to make it okay, and as women, we need to allow men to show that vulnerable side of them and honestly help them navigate it. Because I think that a lot of Black men don't know how to work through that. And as women, we're a little bit, I don't mean to toot our own horns, but we're a little bit more emotionally vulnerable than they are. So we're here, right, Aretha? We're here to help our Black brothers navigate those emotions, because it can be very scary. As any human being, sharing your emotions is very difficult. So we're definitely here to help them navigate that.
Yeah, I definitely have to definitely agree on everything y'all ladies have said. A big thing that us men struggle with, again, is the biggest thing is love, because again we try to find love, and then again it's either back in our face, thrown back in our face, and we either shut down immediately. And that's the biggest thing about us men, is that we shut down immediately. We don't like to share no emotions at all, unless it has been affected by us by death, by birth, or by celebration. I mean, it's a real hard thing to deal with. But learning, again, going to counseling and seeking the help that you need. Get a mentor in your life. Get seek counseling. Just read some books, or Southwest Center, we are here for you. Everybody is here. Different race, we are here, definitely here. Anybody want to add something on? I know that I said 6:45, but we're gonna push this to 7 o'clock, y'all. This is so good. I'm sorry.
Well, I thought I was going to be on my laptop, but I'm on my phone, and it's showing I have 5%. So if I get cut off, that's why. But I do want to say this before, if just in case it shuts off. Um, Generation after generation, they, you know, especially in our culture, it was always taught that men don't cry. If you cry, it's a sign of weakness. So I think that's gotten better. I think that's gotten better because the mentors that they have as um, the um, the younger mothers, the younger mothers now are telling their sons and telling their brothers, it's okay to cry. But back in my day, if a guy cried, it was a sign of weakness. So I just wanted to say that part because, like Hawa with her brothers, I'm sure she tells them it's okay to cry. It's okay to show those emotions. And I'm still scared though when my son walk out the house. I just am. And not only for him, but I for my grandchildren as well. So anyway.
Does anybody else want to add anything to that? I know Cookie has 5%. We're actually going to end in a few minutes. But does anybody else want to add on anything else?
Well, not to that for me, but I was looking in the comments and I saw Terry. Hey, Terry, we miss you. He asked that what can white providers do to, I guess, better serve our community? So I think that would be a really good question for some of us to answer that have had experiences with white doctors, doctors of other races, and kind of let them know what they can do.
I have to say, I'll go on a male perspective. We want to be, give us the honest truth, like give us the real. Like, listen, you need to get this done. Like, you have no other choice. This is what I'm going to give to you. I love a true and honest provider. If you tell me you have me all, you have my mind, you have my, like, you have me all focused in. If you tell me the truth, like, be yourself. Don't be the provider that you went to school for, you graduated, and you have to put on that fake face. Give me that person that you step aside from your work until you get home. Like, I want you to be that honest person. That's what I do with my clients too. I'm that honest person. I'm going to give you the truth. I'm going to give you the respect, and also I'm going to give you the dignity. This is what everybody needs with any diagnosis. We want you to be true with yourself. Be honest and also true to us. Like, tell us what is needed, what is not needed, what we can do, what we can't do, what we can drink, what we cannot drink. You know, we love our wine. I mean, but yeah. Anybody else want to piggyback on that?
Howard, help me out here. To authenticity. Yes.
Authenticity, yeah. You
Okay.
had it.
That's what you can do. If you can be uh Howard, the naturopathic doctor, Dr.
Fuller,
Fuller,
Dr. Fuller.
the greatest compliment she ever gave me, and I believe it, was she said that I was authenticity. She said that she said that to me because we were in the lunchroom one day and I said some crazy stuff, but it was from here. So
Yeah.
people are still human beings. They're still human beings, and everybody eats. Um, I don't want to curse on here, so eats, drinks, and poops. Okay, everybody, all human beings. Kim Kardashian, she goes to the toilet. Kanye West goes to the toilet. Jay-Z, Beyonce. Don't forget the human side of everybody. We're still human beings at the end of the day, and we still eat, poop, and all that kind of stuff. Well, we're human
Yeah.
beings, and be authentic. Be authentic. Be your authentic. That's the word I want to use, Howard. Be your authentic self.
Authentic. Yeah. No,
Authentic.
but just basically what both Michael and Cookie shared. We just want a provider that sees us as a human being at the end of the day. And I think that a misconception that a lot of providers may have is that African Americans can take more pain than other races, and that's not necessarily true. And I think that is a misconception that people have, and that's a misconception that as a white provider you can just remove from your head altogether. Pain is pain. Some people may have a higher pain tolerance. I know I don't sometimes. So I would prefer that a provider doesn't assume that. And there should be no assumptions walking into a patient room. You should have the chart, you should have the vitals, and then you see the person, and just allow us to go on whatever tangents we need to go on to explain to you what we're going through. Because sometimes we may not have the right words to share how we may be feeling. I can tell you that, my side hurts, and I might be talking about my back. It's just, we need a provider that's willing to be patient and understanding, and that let us get, to our symptoms in however roundabout way we might be sharing. Aretha, you're still on mute.
You're muted.
Can you hear me? Okay. So yeah, just basically just don't give us a pill and tell us that, oh, go ahead, here's your prescription, and don't listen to us thoroughly and say, hey, I need to be checked out. This is what hurts. It's a moderate pain. It's not severe. Just don't give me a pill and get me out of your office. Take the time and honestly listen to me and what I'm saying.
And I like to add on to that, because what we also do, and this is what triggers off my mind, is that once we get to the doctor's office and they tell us our diagnosis, we will lie and say, yeah, I know the diagnosis. But once you walk out that doctor's office, you Googling to see what this medication is going to do. What medication can I get? Oh, my next door neighbor took this medication. Doctor, can I get on this same medication as my next door neighbor, or can I take their medication? It's not that. We have to get that out of our minds that we are our insides are the same as our next door neighbor. Our insides is the same as my mama. Like, I can take her medication, I'll be fine. That's not what it is. You have to. What we need is, we need that doctor to tell us. If we do lie and say we know that that diagnosis, we want that provider to be like, let me just educate you on the diagnosis. You may know it, you may not. I don't want to offend you, but I want you to learn how you can overcome it and how you can beat it. Because who knows? God knows if you are going to be that person to actually be the spokesperson of that diagnosis and turn this whole world around. You may be that one to cure it. You may be. But we need you to be that we need you to take care of yourself first in order to become that spokesperson. So that's what I think. So
one more comment. I also can understand feeling like a fish out of water. I know when I came to work for Southwest Center, I have been working for Ebony House for the last 12 years. And I didn't really know how to present myself working around an all-white staff. So me being the person that I am, I just said, I'm just going to be Cookie. And it worked. But it was a real transition for me to work around. And even the person that hired me, who also came from Ebony House, who was white, said, Cookie, things are different here. You can't do the things at Ebony House, do the things at Southwest Center that you did at Ebony House. And guess what? I do the same thing I do at Southwest Center that I did at Ebony House. The same thing. You know why? Because I was true to me. I'm going to stay true to me, always. And even today, the front desk, they said, Cookie, you're the only one can get away with the things you get away with. I said, no, I'm not getting away with anything. I'm being true to Cookie. Now.
Well, anybody else has anything to say before we close? All right.
I want to say something. I want to say something real quick. Cookie, I love your 7,000 glasses. They were fabulous during our show. But I want to let everyone know who's watching that while we're laughing and we're joking and we're having a good time because we truly love one another and we love what we do, I want y'all to hopefully read between the lines and see a lot of our pain and a lot of our discomfort and a lot of our we're just pissed. I mean, we're upset. We're tired of what's going on. So yes, we can laugh and joke with one another because this is a fun setting and we really want to share what we have to bring to the table. But at the end of the day, we have to do better. So if you're one of those people that may be on the fence, or if you think, hey, I ain't got nothing to do better on, you're lying to yourself. All of us can do better. So just, take what you learned today, our laughter, our jokes, but really try to apply it to your life. That's pretty much all we can ask for.
And to add to that, also, please have those uncomfortable conversations with your loved ones, with your family members. That cousin that you kind of are like, well, he'd be posting a lot of like, controversial stuff. I'll talk to that cousin, have those conversations, because we're here and we don't plan to go anywhere, and we're going to continue to have these uncomfortable conversations. And I think that you all should have those conversations, and preferably at the dinner table. I know they say don't talk about politics and things like that at the dinner table, but honestly, we've been quiet for too long. You better start having them conversations.
The struggle is real.
That is so true. That's so true. I definitely agree with everybody. Thank y'all so much. Again, everybody, please definitely visit our website, southwestcenter.com. Please look at our services and everything. Thank you so much. We love y'all. Have a great night. Stay safe. Mwah. Again, everybody, introduce yourself real quick. I think we lost some people, but all right. Thank you.